I'm Alexis. I grew up in like liberal city LA, So liberal city LA, the city where when my mom was pushing me in a stroller, someone came up to her and said, "What are you doing with those nigger babies?" That liberal city. Um, so I always get like people like when I have a friend from Texas and she came and she was telling something racist that happened to her in Texas. And then my white friend goes, it's like, yeah, well, we're from LA, so we don't have that here. Another time she like touched my hair and was like, how do you get it so curly? And I just touched her hair and I said, how do you get it so limp and greasy? And like I could tell she was kind of offended, but she couldn't say anything. So kind of I just like stood there and was like, are you gonna say anything? And she was like, no. And she's no longer my friend, by the way. She's no longer my friend. Okay, so I went to high school in that liberal city. And I had this one teacher, and he was like, he definitely thought he was way too cool to be a white guy. He sat in the desk for like students, and he'd like try to talk to us like he was like cool or whatever. Like, I'm an English teacher, but I also have Led Zeppelin posters in my classroom, so it kind of balances it out. And I was just kind of like, no, it doesn't. And all the white kids were like, oh my God, he's so cool. And he'd be like, yeah, I had a black girlfriend in high school, and I was just like, good job. Good job. Like, what a charity you've done for our race. Thank you so much for all that you've done. But anyway, so I had that teacher actually twice, 9th grade and in 12th grade. And I went to like magnet school, which basically is code for let's let white kids come in here and run all the money. I mean, that's kind of how everything works, but my like school where I went was like the regular school was majority black, but the magnet school was like lots of white kids. So I'm going to school there, and it was just like a lot. Like I remember another time I was eating a watermelon, and this girl Hannah goes, I never thought of you of black until now. And I was like, okay, Hannah, we're gonna have a conversation right now, and you're not gonna like it. And Hannah cried, and I was sent to the principal's office for bullying. Yes, I'm coming out as a bully today. I am your queer black female bully from every movie, the classic bully archetype. But anyway, so I'm in his class, right? And this is something I discovered. You know that look when you like something horrible has happened, and you just look at your friend like that, like knowing look. I discovered recently all races have it. I thought it was just black people, but that was just because of the high school I went to where that was happening a lot. But I also discovered that it's like a human race thing. So we're sitting in class, and our teacher is like talking about satire. And I'm also gonna ruin the movie Toy Story for you. I'm sorry. So Randy Newman is the guy that wrote "You Got a Friend in Me." Friendship. Everything that solves racism, friendship and love. This teacher was also a hippie. Which, in ninth grade me was like, this is a good sign. And like 12th grade me is like, fuck love, I want reparations. Like, I don't care if you love me, just don't come burn down my house and give me some cash. Like, really, I don't need your racist ass loving me from your mansion. Like, driving past my slave shack, oh my God, I love you so much. Just like how Thomas Jefferson loved all of his black children so much, and it solved slavery. But anyway, so we're sitting in class, and he's talking about like this guy, Randy Newman, and he's like, this guy also wrote another song that was like, a lot of people didn't get it, and it made them mad because it was satire, and people don't get satire. And I was like, obviously, I'm one of those people, as you can tell. I don't understand satire or sarcasm at all. But like, he's like, people don't get satire. And so he just starts singing, and I'm tuning out everything this motherfucker is saying, because at this point, I've just written him completely off. And then he just sings the N-word, like nigger. And so then me and my friends do that. For real. Like, did this really just happen? And all the white kids are just kind of like sitting there, like just watching it happen. And so he keeps singing, and I just say, no, stop. And I start standing up. And then he says it again. And then I say, bitch, why did you double down? And then the whole class just goes, oh, fuck you. Like, why do you always have to get angry at everything? And then all these white kids are like, he didn't say it. It's in the song. And I was like, did it come out of his mouth? Like, is it his mouth moving? And he was like, yeah, it's his mouth, but like, it's a song. And I was like, okay, so if you were reading a book, would you just like say it out loud? And he's like, of course I would say it. And I was like, But I just remember being in that class, and just for the rest of the class, which was like 40 minutes, the entire class is fighting. All the white boys are yelling at me, and then my friend is trying to like insult them on the side, but like not stand up because she's lazy and doesn't want the teacher to like see her, because white terrorism exists in classes too. It exists in the form of old hippie teachers who like to talk about their black friends too. But anyway, so the teacher's just sitting there, and this whole fight is happening. I've completely forgotten about him. I'm on to fucking Ben, Freddie, and Ethan. Ethan's not a real person, but it was a white name, so I threw it in there. But like, we're just all fighting. My friend gets up crying, leaves the classroom, and then the bell rings. And I'm still fighting with kids, and we just leave. And I'm like, man, that shit was not okay. Like, what the fuck? And then he didn't have to answer for any of it, So, like, the next day, I'm, like, literally texting all my black friends. I was like, I need you to show up to room 802 at this period. So, it's in my class period, and this teacher already is a little bit intimidated by me. And so I just roll up with the new Black Panthers. And we're like, hey, listen, Mr. Smolin, we need to talk to you for a sec. And he's sitting at his desk, and he's like, sure, what do you want? And I was like, wow, he's scared shitless right now. He's scared of a bunch of teenagers. Like, really, really. Like, he was too scared, though. Like, I was like, you really saw a pack of black people and just lost your mind. This is probably why he broke up with his black girlfriend. He went over to dinner, and he was like, shit, they're all here. So I was like, yo, that wasn't okay, man. Like, you don't get to just do that. And he was like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that in class. And I was like, you shouldn't have said that at all. Like, what are you talking about? You shouldn't have said that in class. You shouldn't have said that at all. And I went in on him, and I was mad. And then I get mad because some of my friends are like, oh, it's okay, Mr. Small. And I'm like, fuck you, Tom. I mean, I know your name's Mia, but you're fucking Uncle Tom right now. Like, fuck you. And I start fighting with everybody. I was mad as hell. And then I get sent to the principal's office for this too. And so then this is another conversation. They're like, you seem to wind up here a lot. And I'm like, yeah, you've got a lot of racist shit going on at your school that you don't want to do anything about. Like, something happens in 10 minutes, I'm called into the office. Meanwhile, the Trump supporter kid who screamed white power in the hallway has never been disciplined. He had to get sent home for his own safety one day because, yeah, he was like inciting a riot. But that's not being disciplined, and I'm being disciplined. And they're like, well, you can't go and, like, if you were at work, you couldn't just go and yell at your boss. And I was like, well, maybe I should become a teacher here so I can do whatever the fuck I want. And then Brenda, which is my principal's first name, Brenda, she was just like, and that dynamic lasted for the rest of my high school experience. I don't even know what it was fucking called. It was like, I still remember it. I still remember because he was just singing it like this, like, kind of like a chicken eating, like half eating. Like, he does this weird, like, bob thing with his head. I don't know. I'll never stop roasting him. Barry Smolin. He actually has a radio show called, I don't remember what it's called. But it's on KCRW on Sundays at 7 p.m. And you can call in at any time. And I would love if you guys would do that and just be like, hey, why'd you say the N-word? And just expose him on national radio. And I think that would be really cool. There was another teacher who refused, I have a twin sibling that's transgender, and refused to respect their pronouns. So I looked up the law and went into her classroom and screamed the entire law in her face. I have a lot of, like, lungs. I have big lungs, so I was fine. Thanks for your concern. And then I got banned from her classroom, and I'm called, like, the intimidating, angry black woman. Meanwhile, she's fucking intimidating people by refusing to, like, validate their actual identity as a human being. And, I mean, this story doesn't really have an ending. I almost finished high school, went insane, and went to the mental hospital and didn't finish out the year. But, like, that's kind of it. And so when people talk about like how, oh, I'm from LA, so we don't really have that, it really fucking pisses me off. Because I'm like, yeah, do you have white people?